Now that the National Guard is on the ground in the nation's capital, there are concerns about whether military members will be subject to criminal and civil liability. Scripps News legal correspondent Avajoy Burnett live in our Washington newsroom. She has the details on that. Avajoy, why do some attorneys believe that deploying the National Guard in the nation's capital could open up individual members to civil, even criminal liability? I keep hearing the phrase Pandora's box.
Yeah, Del. Well, this is all about the roles that National Guard members normally play in the training that they have for those specific roles. So think back to January when we had those wildfires in California. National Guard members are usually deployed to emergency situations like that to support community members. And then they're usually used to support local and federal law enforcement when we have high-profile situations. So an inauguration, for example, they're used at checkpoints. They're used as added security. But legal experts are saying when these National Guard members are deployed with local and federal law enforcement in what could be volatile situations, they could have more confrontations with Americans. And this could potentially open up these National Guard members to civil or even criminal liability. And in those instances, if those instances were to happen, legal experts say one wrong move could cause a citizen to sue a National Guard member, and this is why situations like this could be problematic. Here's what an attorney told me earlier today.
The National Guard do, to some degree, get a little bit of training for a supportive role, but it's not the same as what, for example, the police would get. And so as a result, they do not have the same kind of experience in understanding how to, for example, use force while protecting people's constitutional rights. It's hard enough for the police to do that. And the military, they don't get that kind of training.
And the White House, of course, is reiterating the fact that National Guard members who've been deployed in Washington, D.C., they're not arresting people. They're purely a support role here for local law enforcement. They're also saying that these National Guard members are being used to help protect federal assets. So think about all the monuments downtown. And then just their presence could be a deterrence to crime. But we were also able to speak with another constitutional law expert, and they reminded us that if there's a citizen who brings a civil or criminal lawsuit against one of these National Guard members, that burden of proof could be really high. So it could be really hard for that citizen to prove that this individual National Guard member really violated their constitutional rights, Del. But this is, of course, something that so many people are continuing to watch as we've seen scenarios here in Washington, D.C. with the deployment of the National Guard, and then other controversial situations, for example, in California right now, where there is ongoing litigation regarding not only the deployment of the National Guard, but also the Marines in Los Angeles.
Our legal affairs correspondent Avajoy Burnett for us in our Washington, D.C. newsroom. Avajoy, as always, we thank you.